Hello, EnderSword here again, this time with a preview of NASL Season 3 Finals, which are going to be held in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And since I am from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, I'm obviously going to be going to these events and figured that I'd do a quick preview on what's actually happening this weekend, since it's not just the NASL that's going on. There's actually 3 other tournaments happening at the same time. But we will start with the NASL. The first quarterfinal is going to be Slayer's Puzzle against Liquid's Ret. We're going to see here probably the same sort of high economic style out of Ret. He was making way too many drones even before it was the cool thing to do, against kind of the strong and stable style of Puzzle, our Protoss player. It's going to be a pretty decent matchup. I am curious to see how this goes. Every one of these quarterfinals, as far as I understand, is actually a best of 5. So we're really going to see a lot of good matchups out of these folks, and really see it just flesh out as opposed to just getting a couple of quick build order type wins or anything like that. I expect that we're going to see some fairly long games out of these 2 players. The second quarterfinal that we have is Slayer's Alicia against the hometown favorite, EG's Huck. I almost said Liquid Huck, but he left Liquid as fast as he left the US to come to the better Canada. Obviously, Alicia burst onto the scene quite a while ago with some really good GSTL performances. Hasn't been doing so hot since then until, obviously, the MLG Spring just recently, where he finished second to the one and only Dong Rangu. So this is going to be a really interesting matchup to see, especially again with the best of 5 format. Seeing a PvP, we're probably going to see a lot of different builds and some of Huck's famous control going on during these matches. The quarterfinal 3 is probably one that people are anticipating a lot. It's the rematch of Season 1 of the NASL's finals, MC against Puma, where Puma famously basically just 1-1-1'd MC to death. And since then, the game's obviously evolved a fair bit, and Protoss can hold that sort of thing off generally. Not necessarily me, but other people can actually do it. But MC has just been doing really good lately, just ended up with 3rd place in the Home Story Cup and advancing on in the GSL to the round of 4. But some people are starting to get concerned that, hey, he's been flying around a lot. When have you ever actually been home to practice? Between going to international tournaments and posing in a Tanuki suit so that your girlfriend can draw cartoons of you, then when has he had time to practice lately? It'll be interesting to see whether he can keep up that pace against Puma, who just tends to be an always solid type player. The quarterfinal 4 is going to be a really interesting one because it pits the guy who possibly cares the most about his results in terms of emotions against the guy who possibly cares the least about his result in terms of visible emotions. We've got Liquid Hero against Millennium Stefano, who's going to be happy that we are not too strict about drinking here in Canada. And this is just going to be a really interesting matchup actually going on. I'm curious to see again how this plays out in the longer format. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And obviously, as much as people are rooting for Huck, a lot of people tend to look to Stefano as being the foreigner hope. But a lot of people are kind of jumping on the hero bandwagon, especially ever since Liquid Rising came out. He's kind of become a bit more of a sympathetic character that people like even more and more. After that, well, not really after that, but concurrently with that, we're going to take a look at the CSL, which is the Collegiate StarCraft League, or Collegiate Star League. I don't know if they use the craft word in it, but doesn't really matter to me. The University of Waterloo, University of Western Ontario, and University of Toronto are all from Ontario, so they're going to be representing basically the home province in this, and the University of British Columbia is full of hippies. The WCS Canada is going to be really interesting. There is a lot of talent in Canada. You'll probably recognize a lot of these names from DDE, Druby, Coma, who actually knocked me out in the quarterfinals of the qualifier this thing, Huck, TT1, Chobitsu, Adaro, Dodoro, obviously the big up-and-comer Scarlet, who had a breakthrough performance just a short while ago, Astoji, Slush, Rise, Henderlisk. All of these guys are really quite good. There's a lot of talent in Canada. As you can see, too many Zergs in Canada, but I'm going to allow it. and it's just going to be a great match. This is again 32-person bracket, so just kind of a bracketed affair. That'll be going on throughout the entire tournament, and the finals of this will be just before, I believe, the finals of the NASL itself. So don't count this one out. Huck, obviously, again, a sympathetic character in this. People are glad that he's coming to this anyway, but there's a lot of guys here from Toronto, a lot of talent in Canada, so make sure that you don't overlook this one. Some of these guys are really young and really up and coming type people. There's another event happening, which is Tribes Ascend, which I just found out yesterday is different from the game Settlers. Tribe Ascend is apparently a really high-tech version of the game Duck Hunt, where you shoot at people from some other tribe, I guess, that kind of represent the ducks, and then send the dog from Mega Man to go pick them up for you. I don't really know anything about first-person shooters, but I imagine that they shoot each other, and then the people that get shot less than the people that got shot more than that actually win. So I haven't watched any of that, but it'll obviously be there on the stream. As far as I know, it's just the top 2 teams that are there just to play the final match, as opposed to a bracketed system, which I guess they've been doing all season or something. I don't really care. So anyone coming to Canada, it's not cold here in the middle of the summer, so you don't need to bring parkas or toques or anything like that. There is beer. Remember that it is better than your beer at home, and there's more alcohol in it, so try and pace yourself and have fun out there. Everyone, Esports Canada is actually hosting a party on Saturday night. I don't know if all the spots have been filled for that, but there was an RSVP thing. I think you can follow them at Esports Canada on Twitter, and there is esportscanada. I want to say .org. I don't think it's .com. Look for Esports Canada on Facebook and the internet, and then you'll find it. They run a lot of great things around Ontario. They run most of the bar crafts and stuff around here, so definitely check them out. And as far as I know, for people, again, in the area that didn't know whether you're going to come or not, I think there are tickets that are still going to be available on the website and at the door. Check online to see if that's still the case before coming, but pick them up. As far as I know, they did hold back a set of them so that people could come at the last minute. I hope that everyone has a great time this weekend, and thanks for watching.